Well, folks, we are here, Illini Guys, halftime live. We have Dave Wischnowsky on, a special guest here today. Dave, thanks for coming on.
It's great being on with you, Mike.
Yeah, it was. I was worried, that you were going to be a bad luck charm, but then all of a sudden, at the end of the half, everything started to come into play, and then the world looks right again there at the end of the half.
Yeah, I think they're going to be okay. I mean, I was more worried, coming in the game. I thought, not worried, but I thought USC was going to have a tough time waking up with the 9 a.m. body clock start. But it seemed like the Illini were still hitting the snooze button there for most of that first half.
Yeah, it was, and I thought. I have to be honest with you. I got a little bit of twinge of concern when Yakuchonis is out again today. Now, I'm not trying to say that I have any inside information that there's this is a big deal. It's probably nothing more than let's be precautionary with Indiana and Michigan State, because we know those are going to be big old fights, and it's not going to be a lot of fun. But hold him out, make sure he feels good for that. But I am not certain, that when we look at this, I think it's going to be a little bit scary. Just how bad is it?
I know it's because it's really been kind of vague exactly what the issue is, and they did show that close up. He does have a brace on today. I'm hoping it's precautionary. I have a feeling, and again, I have no inside information either, but if this was a road game or it was a really big opponent coming in, I have a feeling he'd probably be playing today, but I don't know. I think the bigger worry is whatever it is it something that lingers, even if he does get back on the court and gives him an issue going forward? Hopefully it's not that case, and it's just a thing like, let's just rest him at home and get ready for the road games coming up. But it's definitely something that's worrisome because that's a guy that Illinois played great without him last game, but you can't expect him to play that well without your best player every game, and they definitely are missing him the first half today.
Yeah, I thought a couple of things stood out to me today. First off, Illinois has cashed in on the turnovers from what they're taking advantage of those, and I think that is a big deal. And USC has not been able to take as much advantage. Illinois has 11 points off of the 8 Southern Cal turnovers. Mm-hmm. Illinois has 7 turnovers, but USC has only scored 4 points. So I thought that jumped out at me. Yep. The other thing that was a little bit surprising, and because it's only happened once this year, but Illinois is being out-rebounded. Yeah. Now, this USC team is a big team. They've got length at a lot of positions. And then the third thing, Dave, is, Illinois allowed 46.9% shooting. And regardless if KJ's there or not, you got to bring the defense the whole half.
Exactly. There's no reason why the defense shouldn't be playing better. He's not causing an impact, his absence on that regard. And, Illinois' defense has been playing so well lately. It's surprising that they're not playing as well. I have a feeling we're going to see some adjustments at halftime and a different Illini team come out to start the second half. Hopefully we will. Getting that lead there at half is big. But I agree the rebounding is surprising too. It's just – and some of that's effort today, I think, with Illinois has just gotten off kind of a slow funk there. I don't know if they underestimated USC coming in or what the story is, but the momentum there towards the end of the half was encouraging, I think, as we move forward with this one.
Yeah, if Illinois could get a waiver for the Big Ten that all their games start at 2:30 or later, I would be a lot happier, and I think the Illini players would. And I have to say one thing here, and I really think this is the first game that I can think of where when Illinois drives, they are getting the benefit of the doubt and getting a chance to go to the line. And in all fairness, I thought there were a couple times that USC didn't get the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Thus, Illinois is a sparkling 11 for 11 from the free throw line, and USC is only 2 for 2. And so I'm one who will call out the refs. And I think this game, the refs seem to be a little bit pro Illini. Maybe it's the crowd.
Yeah.
And of course, these guys are all fans of the game. So we know that they enjoy basketball, and my thought process is that they probably are in a situation where they're, they know they've got a ranked team, and maybe Illinois is getting it.
Yeah, and it feels like it's a little different. Usually we're complaining about the refs against Illinois, but I agree, there have been some drives that have been kind of beneficial, and those differences, the free throws and not taking the points off turnovers are really what's has the Illini, up here, because obviously the 3-point shooting's been awful to start here, and they've got to hit a few more threes second half. I want them to keep driving, though. If they are going to get a little bit of benefit of the doubt with the refs, they should continue to attack the basket. I thought Boswell put up some threes maybe too early in the shot clock that he didn't need to, and he's having some success driving to the hole. So I hope he does more of that's the second half. But at the same time, hopefully Illinois will hit some more threes the second half as well too, and I think they probably will.
Yeah, and I also have to say Jake Davis is growing on me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he hustles the whole time.
Yep.
He blocks the pass with his face.
Mm-hmm.
Ends up, but then instead of the holding his face, and all that stuff, he just pivots and goes down court and gets a layup for his efforts. It was fun to watch him.
Yeah, I was just going to bring him up too. That he stood out that first half, and he's really becoming a key guy off the bench for the Illini. And with Jake coming in, I didn't know much about him. I knew him as a shooter was with the reputation, and he's a lot more of a gritty player than I expected, kind of doing the dirty work. And I really think he's finding a nice role on this team and seems to be embracing it. He's growing on me a lot too. So he's fun to watch. One of the Twitter followers just compared him to a little bit of a Lucas Johnson vibe, and I'm like, yeah, I can see that a little bit.
With more lustrous hair.
Yeah, exactly. Opposite ends of the hair spectrum between Lucas and
because he's overcome my fear of lustrous hair on the Illini basketball team. So that's something I don't have to fear anymore. But he has done a wonderful job. And I will tell you, one of the things that folks listening or who have been around Illini guys have subscribed to Illini guys. You've heard, Ked and I talk about this a lot, but Morez Johnson, we knew he was going to be a favorite of this particular Illini fandom. And I think he is really, proving that with his effort level and intensity. Yep. And I thought he had a very good first half.
He did. I agree. 4 rebounds with him, and he's such a physical presence for a freshman, just period. But for a freshman, incredibly impressive. And he seems to be stepping up where Ivicic seems to be regressing a little bit. I feel like over the past couple of weeks, I hope Tomislav can kind of get things turned around, and going in the right direction, because he seems like he's going a little bit backwards, whereas Morez is really stepping forward. Morez was phenomenal last game, and he's coming out with a strong energy again too, and it's exciting watching such a young team grow, because I still feel like the ceiling is not even, they're not even close to it yet, because there's just such a young bunch. And Morez is he's one of the better freshmen we've seen at Illinois, and I think he's starting to really show it now.
Oh yeah, and the thing that they talked about here is what you would see if you went to a high school game of his, if you went to an AAU game of his, and I suspect if he's just shooting around and you're at the same basket as him, he goes 100% the whole time. And I think that causes problems, because there's just a lot of guys will save energy at points on the floor. If you're dealing with Morez, you're not saving any energy, or you're going to be watching him do something that will make you look bad.
Yep. Yeah. His motor is just on nonstop.
Yeah. I tell you, that is now the funny thing is see, we're already seeing that, I hope we get 3 or 4 years of Morez before he goes pro. Hey, I'm right there with you. Now I will say here's an interesting difference between like him and Kofi, because obviously Kofi, big dude. Kofi can't go out. If you noticed early, Morez went out there on a guard or on a wing and harassed a wing at 25 feet.
Yep.
And that will make him, because you cannot allow somebody to shoot from 25 in the NBA. So Morez, will probably have more opportunities than what Kofi had. Let's just hope it takes a little bit of time.
Right. Morez he's not a shooter, but he can go out there and defend the shooters. He's a better athlete overall. Not this. Kofi was almost unrivaled with his pure physical presence, but Morez with just the pure athleticism with that motor. And again, he doesn't look like a freshman out there physique wise at all, though, too. Like, just impressive body, and sky's the limit for him. And it's really fun watching him develop. And he's really been getting it going lately.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that you talk about, if you were going to do a definition of balanced scoring, Illinois did that in the first half with Gibbs Lawhorn having 6, Humrickhouse 6, Davis 6, Morez 2, Trey White 9, Boswell 5, Riley and Ivisic at 2 each. So I think that kind of sharing the ball is something that they need to do, particularly when you don't have Yakachonis out there to help. And I think, we're getting a little bit, folks say Illinois isn't going to blow out every team they play. And that's a good point.
It is, and I'm good with that too. They need to be tested. I think that if you're just blowing everybody out, eventually you're going to get into a tough game, and you're not going to know how to respond. So I don't have any problem with them being challenged.
Yeah. Anything that jumped out at you that I haven't covered as you were watching the game there in the first half, Dave?
Just I think the continued progression of Trey White also. He's leading them in scoring again too. And Trey, at the start of the season, I wasn't really seeing what Illinois had seen in him to bring him in and have him start. Over the for a while now, he's been playing excellent basketball, and he's not shooting great yet, 3 of 9 and 0 for 2 for 3 points, but still he's got 9 points. And I just think Trey has really become an impressive player, and just the overall. You mentioned the balance scoring, but just the overall. I mean, eight players scored. You don't have your best player, and you still have 8 guys and have points. Just the depth of the team that they do have. There's different guys that can step up each game, and also he's still trying to provide a nice spark out there as well too. I really love how he stepped forward this season and coming up with some big plays. Had that big steal there at the end of the half, which was key. So other than that, no, I think we've talked about most of the things. Illinois needs to play better this second half. I think they will. Even when they were down, I wasn't really worried because I feel like they're going to get it going here at some point. And I think USC is a competitive team, but not a powerhouse team that the Illini should be able to win this one. They got to play better the second half, but I'm not stressing about it. And I think that they will step up and take care of business.
Yeah. I thought the defensive intensity picked up towards the end of the half. And I think that's why they were able to chip away at that lead. And I think if Illinois does what they're capable of on the defensive end, that's where, and I hate to be that way, but everybody generally can shoot. Mm-hmm. So you got to play D, and defense is a choice. And so if Illinois and Underwood gets those folks, gets his team to play defense, there's a lot of games you're going to win. And I do think that on the road, this has probably got to be a tough road trip for USC. Yeah. With what's going on back in LA and some of these kids, I'm not saying the whole team, but some of these kids, have family there. Mm-hmm. And then, even the coaching staff have houses and homes, and your loved ones are there. I think that's got to weigh on them a little bit as well.
I think it's going to be interesting. You make a great point that their head's got to be a little somewhere else with some concerns around that. Musselman looked like he didn't get much sleep last night when they showed him on the sidelines there a couple of times. But just for the West Coast teams, period, these road trips are, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how they fare. They've got a lot of long trips across the country, these Pac-12 teams that join in the Big Ten now. And I think I expected them to have some struggles this year. Just with the travel, although they haven't played well at home, which has been kind of surprising me. Yeah. Like UCLA was terrible against Michigan, and then they go out in Maryland and have a rough time. But USC, they were in Bloomington, they got to stick around and then play Illinois, and I think there's going to be a lot of that where they have these long layovers away at times. That obviously the Big Ten teams, the traditional, when they go out there, they have that issue. But we're going to see they're going to have to do it even more often for those teams coming east.
Yeah, if you ever want to make an argument for going up to 24, mm-hmm. where you could also, if you had 24 teams in the Big Ten, you could split them into 4 6-team divisions. And to me, you would add, I really thought they kind of missed out by not pulling in Stanford and Cal.
I was just going to say the same thing. Yep.
Because then that gets you 6 teams out there, and they don't have to travel as often,
I was really surprised they didn't add them. Just academically, I thought they made so much sense to add to the Big Ten and just give that whole wing out there with the West Coast. I guess there must be some other plan for other teams, other schools are looking to eventually potentially add. But I thought Stanford and Cal made a ton of sense, and I think they would have been a nice addition to the conference. And they talk about crazy travel. I mean, they've really got a crazy situation that they're in.
Yeah, and I think it's a lot harder than it is in football. Of course, everything's generated around football. You got one game a week, so it's no big deal for that. But these other sports and the non-revenue sports, to spend that type of dollars, and that the program isn't bringing in any money, it makes me for the long run kind of worry for those athletes.
Agreed. I wouldn't be. It might be interesting down the line if you see the Pac-12, if they do reconfigure, if some schools end up trying to get back in, or so. I don't know, like a Stanford and Cal or something. Ultimately, just because that traveling, you're sending your swimming team, you know, all the time across the country. That's a big expense for no revenue coming back in. So it'll be interesting to see where it all lands down the line.
Yep. Well, folks, they are just about to tip off. Dave, thanks for coming on. That was a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Hope to do it again, Mike. Great talking to you as always.
We will all, anytime we can get Dave on, we will have him on right here on Dave TV. But folks, we will be on 30 minutes after the game. Brad and Kat are both there. Want to give them some time to get out of the post game interviews, etc. So we will come on 30 minutes after the game. Until then, folks, go Illini.
Go Illini. Let's get a win the second half. Bye, Mike.
Take care.